Hey, my lovelies, my wonderful people, a pleasant evening to everybody. Boy, beautiful people, I was watching a post with Buju Banton. Boy, he really was lambasting the people at the airport or customs. I'm not sure who. The long and short of it is that, I don't know if he has sent barrels or people that he knows have sent barrels, and, some of the items are missing. They have not reached before it would have reached him or to the designated people or person. Some of the items, he was even given an example of a stove, and he was saying that the item, sorry, is so large. And was asking, no one has seen people walking out with that, but they're not going to know because they could assume it's people's own, in other words, the people who work there, they're the ones who had imported it. So they're not going to necessarily think to say, they're stealing it if that is what is the reality, you know. So when he's making the inference, I think he's probably, because he's so flustered, he's not thinking it through properly. Nobody's going to necessarily look to say, oh, this one is taking this or that one is taking that, because the reality is that the items, could be the people ordering it themselves and clearing their items. You know what I mean? So nobody's going to think, oh, where did they get that stove from? Where did they get this from, or that or the other? Additionally to, where that is concerned, we're not sure how properly manned, I have been to, for example, the wharf to clear a barrel, and it is, you go from this, you in this you go to this particular window, then you go over another window before you actually get to the place where you get to the barrel, and that thing can take you the entire day. It is ridiculous after paying so much money. It can take you the entire day. And where you go, there's so many people there. You're not necessarily looking to say, oh, you're in this barrel, it belongs to so and so. People, I don't know what it is now, and what I'm talking about is not that long ago. It may have been a year and a half, maximum 2 years ago. So I don't think he understands just the crazy behind it, the bureaucracy, the red tape, so many different factors, that would cause one not to be, the transparency to be little to none, the accountability to be little to none. What I know that they're very sure of is that if you have to pay money, you pay that money. You can't get away from that. They have that uncanny ability to be able to get the money for whatever your items in the barrels are. What I hear is that they have a sort of a screening system, like where you don't have to go through the hullabaloo. And I don't know if it can be delivered to you. Maybe the cost will be more astronomical, sorry. And they screen the items from, well, I'm sure that they must have done that from before, without you having to go on the digging up business and all of that. I don't know. But it is an unfortunate situation if what he has posited is so. I've heard people talking about it, that, they will, somebody, when they send a barrel with whatever things in it, when it gets to the designated people or person, that what they would have sent, all of the items are not in there. Especially the items are very much useful and expensive, and it is sad. And if that is the case, the relevant authorities need to ensure that the laws, the policies are enforced. Everyone must abide by laws and policies. You're not above it. You're not exempted from it. You are not exempted from it. So it was disheartening to listen to what he has stated. To say they send things and some of the things are missing from the barrels. It is very, very sad. And I pray that they hold whomever it is or the people that are accountable. If what he has posited is so, I don't know. But I've heard many stories over the years like that. I've heard many, many, many stories over the years like that. And I think that is, and I know that if that is true, let me say this. If what they have posited to be true, which I really believe them, to be honest, I'm actually believing them, it hinges on the blessing on the land. It's like the land, no matter how many investors come into Jamaica, We can't seem to go over the threshold of prosperity. We can't seem to prosper and flourish in a holistic way. You will have pockets of people. It's like when Barack Obama, former president of the United States, had come and said, boy, he knows America has their issues, but he would never want the disparity between the rich and the poor to be as great as it is in Jamaica. When the people them poor, and when them rich, you see that gulf between them, you know, and it is a very sad situation, because I've often said, no matter how gifted a human being is, here she's not Jesus Christ. They're not God. They're not omniscient. They're not omnipotent. You know, they can't do they can't, without supernatural means, let's say it that way, without God intervening, turn water into wine, raised somebody who has been dead for days to life again, put life into dry bones, turn mud into flour and dirty water into oil. You know, and I'm giving you things that have happened in real life in modern 21st century days. So outside of that, to the point, you know, no human being can be so much more gifted and brilliant than the other, that you feel that they must be highly paid, leaps and bounds over another human being. Some people have just not gotten the opportunity because of environment, because of culture, because of socialization, because of generational curse. But it's not that when God did not say, all right, I'm going to make you better than this one, because it's a trial and error in me making human beings. I was trying a thing and I didn't perfect it the first time, so I'm going to try and perfect it in this human being. Then I don't know if I will spend time on the next human being. I may do a mediocre thing. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, so it is a very, very sad reality to see the disparity between the rich and the poor here in Jamaica to be so great. But if what Mr. Banton has actually posited to be really true, I pray that somehow these people will be held accountable. If not by the laws of man, they certainly will be held accountable by the laws of God. It cannot escape it. I've seen boomerang effects on whatever you do. Be it good, be it bad. That goes without saying. You know, and that's a very, very sad and daunting situation. And the laws and the policies surrounding these places must be enacted, because there are laws, there are policies. Stealing is stealing all over. It doesn't come off the books. It doesn't come off the laws. It's an egregious act, you know, and it is certainly punishable by law. But God will hold them accountable if the laws of man do not. So sometimes, people, it makes no sense to worry too much. God is on the throne, and he hates injustices. He hates evil. He abhors evil. He abhors unfairness. He abhors injustices. Wickedness he totally abhors. So we will see what we will see. Anyway, guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Certainly give me one of those lions. Have a good one.